So I'm in the shop here on Saturday working on a Nova. I got kind of an interesting project. It was a race car. While he was racing it, it was off the street, so a little small block in there, but it had a fuel cell in the trunk and the battery in the trunk and electric fuel pump mounted back here, and all race car stuff. So now we're putting it back on the street. So I put the Phytech EFI on it, and I got the fuel tank here that Phytech supplied. We had a few issues with that. It's a really nice tank, but the screws they sent for the fuel pump, it's got an in-tank fuel pump. The screws were wrong, so I had to find some screws. Not a big deal, but the other thing is I also ordered a fuel kit, fuel system with it. It comes with all the fittings and the fuel pump. I mean, not the fuel pump, the fuel filter. So I got it just kind of tied up here right now along the frame. The problem was there's a pressure and a return. So this is the pressure line here I got run now, and it goes all the way up to the tank there. But they don't give me enough hose to run the return. I can only run the hose half the length of the car. So you spend $250 on a bunch of fuel hose and some fittings, and they don't even give you enough hose. So pretty disappointed with that. Now I got to order more hose. But I got the vent, tank vent is mounted up there. But really nice tank, powder coated or painted or whatever it is. I think it's powder coated. But yeah, pretty disappointed in that. But also doing some Dakota digital gauges on the Nova. I got to wire that in yet. It's got a blown small block in it. I'll let it down here. It had some wimpy little cooling fan on it too. And that little thing is not going to keep this thing cool on the street, so I installed a new cooling fan. The wires and that still have to be all cleaned up, tied up. So this is the Phytech power adder system on this little blown small block. So we got the pressure line going in, and this is going to be the return. But I was just going to run down the same, beside this one, but they don't give me enough hose. Pretty disappointing, but whatever, it is what it is. So get some more hose, and then cooling fan assembly installed. He had this mounted on the other side, but I put the battery there because clean up the trunk area so he can put stuff in the trunk. If he wants to go to a car show or whatever, he can put some lawn chairs in there. So yeah, that's a nice setup. I got the relay for the fan mounted in behind here so we can't see it. And we just got these two wires here that we're just going to cover up with some kind of covering there. But yeah, no power steering, no power brakes, no air conditioning, just your basic, straightforward street car. And I got the dash. It's all apart right now because I got the wire. Somebody else wired the car and everything was just kind of all over the place. So I tied things up a little bit, and then I'm going to mount the unit for the Dakota Digital. Just started wiring that in. And then the trunk area, it's all cleaned up now. I just got to zip off these bolts that somebody welded in here for mounting the other fuel cell. Whip those off, and then cover this up with a little paint. I had to weld a plug in here because it had the sump cut out there for the sump in the fuel cell. I had a hole cut out for the fuel cell sump. So paint that up, whatever, get some protection on there, and then I cut those off, and then he can carpet this or do whatever he wants. There's a few other holes in here that really should be welded up too, but yeah. So and then I made some tailpipes, but I got a little carried away and I made them before I got the fuel tank, so now I had to, they didn't clear the fuel tank, so now I got to redo the tailpipes, which kind of sucked. I spent like 5 hours making those tailpipes, but so yeah, this job is turning out to be, you know, it's typical. You know, you build something and nothing ever works out perfectly, so. And I got the LS twin turbo motor here kind of all put together for the most part. That's going to be a sweet project. And yeah, that's all the stuff that came out of the trunk and whatnot for that Nova. There's the fuel cell. I got the chassis there for the LS for that twin turbo car. Just the front part. We gotta get, when I get the car here, then I gotta measure up for the rear section. But I just got a new piece of equipment in here, in the shop here. So found this big lathe here. It's a 1941 Sydney, and it's a monster. The guy came with a skid steer to try to take it off the guy's trailer, and it was just tipping the skid steer forward. It wouldn't even lift it. So another guy came with a huge forklift, and he had no problems. He just lifted it up and brought it in the shop, and then the skid steer kind of put it in place. So, but this thing's a monster, and now I don't have to farm out any kind of machine work. I mean, some stuff I may have to if it gets pretty fancy, but this thing should be able to do everything that I want to do here. I just got to learn what all these levers do. It makes Acme threads, coarse, fine. It's a war lathe. This is what they used during the war period, so it's designed very heavy duty, and it's designed to machine just about anything. So I only got a 3-jaw chuck with it. The guy told me he had a 4-jaw, but then he couldn't find it, so I don't really know if I would ever need a 4-jaw chuck, but and then it's got the drill chuck end on here, and then it came with a center, so I can put that in. It comes with a steady rest. That thing's huge. So, and that was a good deal. I mean, I cleaned it up since I got it. It was all full of chips and everything, so cleaned it up a little bit. But this is going to be a fun learning experience here, and get to machine some stuff. But that's really all I got going. I got some more tubing here so that I can finish off the tailpipes on that car. But yeah, I like to get this thing out of here because I got the Camaro is coming back to get the motor out. We're going to send it back to Ray Morrison to get it freshened up. And then I got it that as soon as this is done and the motor's out of that Camaro, then I can bring that Pro Street project in and get going on that thing. That's going to be a huge project. So, but yeah, this maybe I'll get a video when I get this thing running. Always got cool stuff. I got a winter. The whole winter here is just full of cool stuff coming all winter. So, and I got I ordered some toques and some hats. So I'm going to be giving those away to any customers that bring me this kind of stuff. And I got calendars coming and stuff. So kind of get the word out there that this is what I want to do. And yeah, the calendars and the toques and hats, whatever, aren't here yet. But hopefully before winter, before it gets too cold. And then for next spring, I'm going to do some T-shirts. So I kind of look forward to that. But my bench is a disaster here as always. And yeah, that's really all I got.